Okay, we're back again. Shane summarized that very well. This came to light due to the Aspens requesting the variance last year, which made us look at the overall ordinance for the town. And we found it just overly restrictive. And so we met multiple times to determine what was the proper size. The 5 foot is what we came up with, and that basically brings us in line with other surrounding communities as well. So, any questions?
And to that, I mean, we did incorporate the International Residential Code at the suggestion of the county building department, and so there could be a situation, depending on how that building is built, that it still could meet the same smaller setbacks as long as they have certain requirements incorporated into the building. That could be firewalls or whatever, but they could actually still get to the smaller setback if they meet certain requirements in the International Residential Code as well.
I think this would be very beneficial to the town, especially some of our lots that are smaller in size, that will enable them to have sheds and structures like that on the lots.
And I should mention, so it did go in front of Planning and Zoning Commission on February 17, 2023 as well, and Planning and Zoning did recommend or forward a do pass recommendation to council. This is an ordinance, so it requires 3 readings from council to become official.
Any questions from the reporter? Open the public hearing and hear any comments for or against the zoning changes. Any comments? Thank you. Any other comments? All right, we will close the public hearing. Do I have a motion to approve ordinance number 2, 2023? Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Item 6, Chief Cornett.
Mayor and council, good evening. We're going to use our technology tonight to see how it works out.
No?
Yes.
We'll have to go
We'll have to go
Oh, okay, where's the input on this? It came up earlier, all on its own.
While we're doing that, also our new computer that we're getting configured for the YouTube stream will also be directly connected to the television. So hopefully we'll be able to better present presentations in the future.
I came in here and played with this today, so if it would work.
There we
Sure.
go.
Okay, I would like to take you guys through a tour of the Evansville Fire Department. I know most of you have been in there already, but this will be a little update of our building. So when you go upstairs, this is looking down the hallway, the main hallway of our upstairs. This is looking north for our only exit upstairs. The men's room is on the right, the women's restroom is on the left. This is down the hallway to the bedrooms. If you notice, there's one way in, one way out. This is what it looks like when we turn the lights out. I want you to notice that the clock says that it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. We have no external lighting in that building. It's no windows by design of the building. This is our first bedroom. You can notice there's 3 cozy beds in there. That's the second bedroom with also 3 cozy beds. And that's the bedrooms that we have. We currently are staffing 3. We have 2 full-times and an intern. This beginning of this year, we put on 3 more interns, so we're going to be housing now 4, 2 full-times and 2 interns. When we have any volunteers come and stay, that means they all get to cram in those 2 bedrooms. No separation for male and female. One of our interns is actually female as well. So one of the things that we're looking into. There's also no sprinkler systems in the building, which adds that extra bit of safety hazard, especially being one way in, one way out of that hallway for the sleeping quarters. There's our lovely kitchen. You can notice the 1980s linoleum on the floor. Just looking kind of for a little bit of an update. So we were asked what we could do, and we went through several different options of what we thought we could do with our building. We would love to just build a new building and everybody move into a new building, but that is unfeasible at this time. So looking at doing an upgrade, an addition, or something like that, we looked at a couple of different options. Do we dig a foundation and extend the building? It came to our attention that maybe we could just expand the building in the same footprint. So we had the idea to expand that lower roof and put an addition on it that could be accessed from inside the building. First step with that is to call an engineer and check to make sure that that was even feasible. Would it hold it? We have already done that. The engineer came in and told us what it would hold and that it would be capable of holding an addition out there. Something that would look a little bit like this is what I have envisioned. It may have to be flopped. The 5 rooms are bedrooms. We would lose the 2 bedrooms that we have now, change the kitchen configuration so it's kind of a more open concept. The big room, I was anticipating for a training room to give us a little bit more room. However, a training room requires a little bit more pounds per square foot than that roof could allow, so we'd have to leave that up to an architect to kind of see how we could to fit what we need in what we have. So that's why I'm here today. The second step of what we need to do is we need to get an architectural design for the building. I have gotten a bid. I've gotten several bids, but the lowest one was I put one out there for you guys by this GSG architectural design. He told us that he would come in and give us a cost analysis and draw us blueprints that would be engineered stamped so that when money was available, we would be able to go ahead and build off of the blueprints that he has. The total on that would be about $13,200. The next steps obviously would be then to put it out to bid and then build the building and move into it. We have applied for a couple of grants that could help with the project. One that we have applied for has just started to announce the awards, and we haven't heard anything from them yet. But those are the steps that we're going for, and this is part of that process. To a lot of those grants say, well, is this an already in progress kind of a thing, or is it something that you're wanting to do? If we have these steps already done, then that helps get some of those grants that are out there. So what we're looking for is approval to use the GSG architecture for the estimate of that $13,200 to be able to get some design drawn up. It's with the architect and with a engineered stamp so that we can be able to proceed when funds are available. Is there any questions?
This is a project that we've been working on for quite a long time. Each individual step to keep moving forward. We'd like to keep set this at the next step now. And I think it will help as we apply for the grant. Bob was taking into account shovel ready cost. As far as payment of this. We have enforcement, tax revenue. We utilize some of that, those funds, to fund this.
I know this last one, I just remember that. Couldn't we, could we have gone with full, I got the milk going over like one day and full, that makes me feel more. Would that not be the process to have your
Well, no, because the floor, that roof still wouldn't support the weight of the floor. Yeah.
And I believe in our initial estimations, we were anticipating the current equipment that Chief Burnett outlined, somewhere between $500,000 and $600,000 cost in constructions. Just keep in mind the cost of equipment, basically, because there are some costing issues, such as mentioned, sprinkler system is being required, we put that in there. The other building benefit, lights, having windows. It is kind of, can be a dark area up in there with no external lighting.
And one of the other things we looked into with the remodel is they make those two can sunlight skylights. We've looked into the possibility of putting in some of those just to get some natural light into the existing part of the building as well. Because cutting a window in those walls it's not going to happen. The way the building is designed, it won't happen. So
The building structure is very rigid. Apartments, so you gotta be really careful when you make continuing construction, integrity of the building.
What do you adjust the precast concrete like it is now or different material?
I'm going to defer that to the architect. More than likely, I'm expecting it to be constructed of like metal studs, and we'll have to find a outside covering that would accent or go with the structure that we have now. But I would leave that up to the architect to kind of steer us that direction. So.
Any other questions from the chief?
So the theory is having extra bedrooms is to be able to put one person in a bedroom, so they have their own separate bedroom. We haven't actually put a lot of. We kind of have ideas what we want to do with the upstairs, but we haven't. Yeah, we haven't really put a lot of planning into that yet. So.
One of the thoughts is if we were able to move forward with this construction, that we would need some of the pressure from the existing Further questions? I have a motion to move forward with the architectural design. Do I have a second? All those in favor? Opposed? Thanks, Chief.
Would you like me to contact him tomorrow or this week and kind of get that ball rolling then? Okay. Thank you, Council.
Item 7, Ms. McNaught, the community garden funding request.
I've got figures for everybody because in that packet that we had online, there is an extra piece in this one. Have to rotate that way back. So last year was our first year of going at the community garden event. It was definitely something that everybody was just dipping their toes in to see if the community would be interested and that kind of stuff. So definitely in the beginning where we weren't asking a lot from the community when it came to making the beds, planting the beds, and doing that kind of stuff. But we didn't, at that point, we really hadn't had much community involvement. But going throughout the summer, as things started producing and things started growing, we got a lot of community members in there. We had kids, we had elderly, we had adults. There was always people in there. So coming this year, we were wanting to make a bigger garden bed. And with this garden bed, we wanted to make it handicap accessible completely. So everything, if you guys want to turn to your second page, this is going to be the blueprint of our garden. Everything is they're going to be 4 foot across. You want that so if somebody can bend over and get to it, but they are all going to be raised beds. They're all going to be around that 30-inch to 33-inch mark, so people they're not having to bend over, it hurts their back. And then at the very end, you're going to see that part where it's a 4x4. It's going to say a raised bed. On your next page, you're going to see an outline that those ends of those beds are going to be made for wheelchair accessible, where they can actually go right underneath it like a table, and then they can garden above, and so they're not having to bend. Because a lot of people, even though yes they are in a wheelchair, and a lot of these beds, they would have to come up sideways and try to garden this way, which is really hard on them in general. So having a space where they can just come under in their chairs and being able to garden above them makes it a lot easier on them. And then still those will not be over that 4 foot, so they can access it at all angles and still be able to reach the entire bed. So with this bed, I know that the cost that we're proposing, it's around that $8,700. That is a large chunk, but it's one of those, we are making them redwood, and it's going to be completely paved all the way with pavers all the way around. So it doesn't matter if it's raining or whatever else, people in their wheelchairs, walkers, anything like that, it is completely ADA accessible. It will go from the path that entire way. It will be fenced in, and all the way around it will have 6 foot all the way around, even on the insides of the bed, because you need to have that 6 foot turnaround. So we just made that entire sections on the inside 6 foot, so it's compliant. And there are, not that I'm aware of, but there are no other beds in this town. There might be a bed here or a bed there, but there is not an entire garden dedicated to that. So it doesn't matter if it's tall or this. I mean, there are no ones that, yes, they might have taller beds, but they do not have a complete hard surface, so people in wheelchairs, no matter if it's muddy or whatever, because as soon as you water, it's muddy. It's immediately that way. So having that accessibility is going to be beneficial. I know we talk about in this town of trying to get this place to come and get people to come in, even though when we're talking about building our park that's going to be down by the river, we want it to be a place where people want to come. And with this garden, that will make it where people will want to come. The retirement homes, the assisted living homes, they will bring their residents to here just so their residents can garden. These people have been gardening a lot of their lives. I mean, really, it's one of those, it's kind of over the generations, it's lost popularity. But these people, they grew up gardening, they grew up farming. It's very popular with them. They are so knowledgeable. I'd like to bring that back into the community and giving that this is a space that they can do it, and then they can be part of that and their knowledge with it. And then, so that would be, that garden bed would be for that 8,000. In that, they have proposed with the dirt and the compost, but in order to amend that compost, we need things to amend the soil, and that will be on their very last one. This proposal is one of those, it will go inside of it. It will almost be kind of not quite that cost per year, because we won't need peat moss every single year or that amount every year. We'll just that very first year, we always want to put more into it because we're not really sure exactly what we're getting out of compost. So we want to really amend that soil and put a lot of into it. There are a few more tomato cages that we're going to need, but really a lot of our costs, I mean, is going going to be for the peat moss and the earthworm castings, blood meal, bone meal. That stuff is definitely kind of got a higher price point on it. And the hog panels, that's actually going to be for you're going to make it an actual awning where we'll put them in on section and section, and then over the walkway it will be over 8 foot tall, and that's where our pumpkins and cucumbers and that stuff will grow, and it will actually vine up and over, so that'll look really cool. And then I've been doing that in my garden, so it's tested. It's one of those I can climb on it. It's good. And so these are just going to be some of the seeds that we're going to be planting. There are plants that we're going to be planting, and I'm going to try to not necessarily with some of these plants we will have to buy from like Home Depot and that kind of stuff. But what I'm going to try to do, Evansville Elementary, they do a plant sale every spring. They always have tomatoes, they'll have peppers and things like that. I'm going to try to buy from the school, so we'll help support the school and not big box. So, any questions?
I'd just like to add, I know last year we started this project just to see if it caught fire and who was participating.
Yeah, we had a lot of people out there going at it, and all the stuff that we are going to plant is going to be edible. Everything, even if it's going to be a flower, it would be an edible flower kind of a thing. I mean, other than, well, marigolds, but that's just because we're going to try to help with the skeeters. So, but this is definitely for people and helping, just letting people go down there and pick and eat and enjoy.
Any questions?
Absolutely, thank you.
We'll also throw out that this is for the main structure. It will be something that this is approved by council.
No, and right, and then this is something that should last with the redwood and the papers. This should last like 20 years because it is the redwood. I know it is definitely a lot bigger price up front, but it should last around 20 years. Yeah, we might have to replace a paver here or a board there, but the main of it is make it quality and it's going to last.
I think that's a good point to point out. Last year we spent $1,000 on burn.
Dipping the toes in. Right, absolutely. It definitely should. I mean, there will also be, the irrigation in there, we're going to attach to the already irrigation there. So it's not like I'm going out there every night watering. That is set up on a timer. So.
Any other questions? One other item, funding. This would be an item that I would suggest that we also utilize the one cent sales tax funding for.
I'd like to make a motion to approve it.
Thank you.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Sweet. Awesome. So I would also like to, when we start planting and doing that kind of stuff, we will put a post out there, but I encourage you guys to come and help. We do want it part of the community. I know last year, these guys showed up and Robert was there. But I would encourage all of you guys to come and help. And bring a seed, bring a shovel. There'll be a lot of rolling of the dirt to get things going. But once things really start getting established, a lot of people show up and they're always down there messing with things and fiddling and just, it's really cool to get to be down there and you get to see kids that are they went to grandma's house and had gardens, and they went to this place and they had gardens. They got to play with it, but at their own house they don't have it. And so this is this place where they got to go down there and check all this stuff out. And getting to chat with those kids down there in the evening when I'm down there just tending to the garden, I get to chat with these kids and what they wanted to see. And last year we didn't plant peas and we didn't plant carrots and there wasn't potatoes, and those will all be in there this year. And so but that's where the kids is just like, we wanted sweet peas because that's what he had at his grandma's house. You really would like peas down there. And the other little girl wanted carrots, and then her dad would really like potatoes. And so it was one of those. And even with the pumpkins, there will be edible pumpkins. They're not necessarily just a decorative pumpkin. They're going to be edible ones so that people can eat everything. Thanks, guys.
All right, item 8, engineers reports.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor and Council. I just have a couple more things tonight. We're working on the design of the Lathrop Road Pathway project. We're going through design right now on that project. Last week, well, I guess a couple things before you tonight. There's a reimbursement form number 1, and reimbursement number 1 consists of WLC invoice totaling $4,831.38. The grant reimburses 80%, so the reimbursement is $3,865.10. So we were notified a couple of weeks ago by YDOT. YDOT administers the grant, but they're also overseen by the Federal Highway Administration. And the Federal Highway Administration let YDOT know that they were going to mark the project as inactive because they hadn't seen a reimbursement request yet. So we hurried up and got that reimbursement request in. I think the same day they asked for it, actually. And so the mayor signed that. I'm just asking tonight for the council to ratify that. Typically, those do come. I bring those before council, but we were kind of under the gun to get that one through. And it's getting you money back anyway. So I mean, it's an easy decision to sign. But so I just recommend a motion to have council ratify that reimbursement request number 1.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
And so the second thing here, just to stay on track now with YDOT, we actually have reimbursement request number 2 tonight. Again, this is a WLC invoice totaling $3,895.49. Again, the grant reimburses 80%, so the reimbursement request is $3,116.39. It leaves a balance on the grant. It's a $600,000 grant. Leaves a balance on the grant of $593,018.50. So recommend a motion to have the mayor sign and submit reimbursement number 2.
Motion to submit reimbursement number 2. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes.
So really exciting news. On February 10th, we opened bids for the Memorial Way paving project. So we had, I believe it was 8 bidders, Trito Construction, ISCO, 71 Construction, Knife River, Wayne Coleman Construction, Andrew and Hunt Construction, Grizzly Excavating, and Ramshorn Construction. So yeah, total of 8 bids. I guess I'll go ahead and read them out. They're in the same order that I just read the contractors, but there was $453,450. $346,202, $412,464, $446,519, $409,307, $377,750, $481,394, $442,442.02. So anyway, the low bidder was Installation and Service Companies for $346,202. I believe, I didn't bring that in front of me, but Chad, you may remember, I think the amount of funding we have available, I think is $450. That sound right?
In there, and then there's the match.
Yeah, and then there's a 10% match.
We had anticipated roughly
$500,000. Yep.
So coming in $150,000 under.
Yeah, so very good bids. So and very good contractor. That was a low bid, so I'm comfortable with that. So with that, I have tonight notice of award. So I'd like to issue notice of award to Installation and Service Company. So recommend a motion to have the mayor sign the notice of award to Installation and Service Company.
Any questions from this board? I have a motion for the terms of the award. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
All right. Sounds good. So it'll be, probably another 3 to 4 weeks, and we'll come forward with the actual the contracts for approval at council. And we have in there May 31st completion date. Should be enough time, but the way the winter's going, and who knows what spring will bring, we'll see. Hopefully we can get it paved this spring. But if weather prohibits, then we'll get into the summer. But hopeful that we can get it done this spring and have a nice paved road for the summer.
I'd like to thank Mr. Porter for staying on top of this. It's been almost a year since we approved this funding. And believe it or not, we just got the notice to proceed 3 to 4 weeks ago. So to be at this point, it's great to hear. I appreciate you staying on top of it.
Well, thank you. Yep. That's all I got.
Do I have a motion to approve the engineer's report? Any discussion? All those in favor? Motion passes. All right, one other item before we open up public comments. As everyone knows, we did apply for a grant for a park down in Reshaw a couple of months ago. It's a pleasure to announce that we did receive that grant. And although it is not a done deal, there are a lot of hurdles that we must overcome to get this in time. We did pass our first hurdle and got an environmental study we're finishing up right now. So I wanted to let everyone know that's something we are actively working on, and look forward to hopefully having this park up and running this fall. With that, we'll open up to public comments. Any public comments this evening?
I just wanted to. I'll public comment. I just wanted to give an update about the 100-year celebration. Our committee has been working very diligently at trying to move this forward, and we're looking at the 100-year celebration parade being set on May 15th, and then the actual festival will be June 24th. And also, if any residents would like to be on the committee, we are more than welcoming everybody that wants to assist and help as we get closer to time, because there's a lot of things that have to be accomplished in a very small amount of time. And for full transparency, the committee is small. We're mighty, but we're small, and we would like some additional folks to jump on board with us here. But we are moving forward, and we have all of the foundational parts of the 100-year celebration festival already lined out. Now we're just looking for vendors, musicians, food trucks, all of the fun stuff. We're now in the fun stuff mode. Foundational stuff has been solidified and set, and I just want to thank the committee, because most of them are literally sitting in this room right at this moment. I just want to thank the committee for diligently meeting as much as we are, and we'll be meeting more so the closer that we get. But yes, if we'd like any other volunteers, if anybody else out there would like to jump on board with this, that'd be great.
I too would like to express appreciation to Councilman Machado as well as the rest of the committee for all the work in putting the celebration together. And I would like to encourage any other citizens interested to please step up and be part of this 100-year celebration. Do you have any other public comments this evening? Public comments? All right, public comment period closed. Do I have a motion to adjourn? All those in favor? Meeting adjourned at 7:42. Okay.